Have you ever noticed that some people seem to stay broke no matter how much money they make? A raise comes in, a better job appears, their income doubles, and somehow their financial life barely changes. Meanwhile, there are other people who start with almost nothing. No wealthy parents, no lottery ticket, no overnight success. Yet 5 years later, they're in a completely different financial universe. They have savings, investments, options, freedom. So what happened? Did they discover a secret investment? Did they start a wildly successful business? Did they get lucky? Sometimes. But more often, something much simpler happened. They started doing one thing that most people completely ignore. And the strange part is that this habit doesn't look impressive. Nobody posts it on social media. Nobody brags about it at parties. Nobody gets compliments for it. But over time, it quietly changes everything. And if you're currently broke, this might be the most important financial lesson you'll ever learn. Because any broke person who consistently does this one thing can completely transform their financial future within 5 years. Let's talk about what it is. Most people think wealth comes from making more money. That sounds reasonable. If you're broke, the obvious solution must be earning more, right? That's what society teaches. Need more money? Get a better job, work more hours, start a side hustle, ask for a raise. And to be fair, earning more money absolutely helps. But there's a problem. Making more money and building wealth are not the same thing. In fact, they're often completely different games. Imagine two friends. Let's call them Ryan and Alex. Ryan earns $3,000 per month. Alex earns $6,000 per month. At first glance, Alex should become wealthy much faster. Double the income, double the opportunity. Case closed. But 5 years later, Ryan has built significant savings and investments. Alex is still living paycheck to paycheck. How is that possible? Because income isn't the thing that creates wealth. The gap between what you earn and what you spend creates wealth. That gap is called your margin. And margin is where financial freedom begins. Think of money like water flowing into a bucket. Your income is the water entering, your expenses are the holes in the bucket. Most people focus entirely on increasing the water. Very few people pay attention to the holes, so they work harder, earn more, get promoted, receive bonuses, and then immediately create bigger holes, a nicer apartment, a newer car, more subscriptions, more expensive vacations, more lifestyle upgrades. The extra income disappears as quickly as it arrives. Psychologists actually have a name for this phenomenon. It's called hedonic adaptation. Humans adapt incredibly fast to improvements. The thing that felt exciting 6 months ago becomes normal today. The new phone becomes just a phone. The luxury car becomes just transportation. The bigger house becomes just where you sleep. And once something feels normal, your brain starts searching for the next upgrade. The cycle never ends. This is why many people who earn 6 figures still feel financially stressed. Not because they don't make enough, because their lifestyle grows as fast as their income. Now here's where wealthy people think differently. Whenever their income increases, they don't immediately upgrade their life. Instead, they capture the difference. This is the habit. This is the thing. They create a gap between income growth and lifestyle growth. And that gap becomes an investment machine. Let's make this simple. Imagine someone gets a raise of $500 per month. Most people spend it. The money disappears. But another person invests that same $500 every month, month after month, year after year. At first, the results look boring, almost disappointing. Nothing exciting happens. This is where most people quit. Because humans naturally overestimate what can happen in a week and underestimate what can happen in 5 years. We crave immediate rewards. Money rewards patience. And patience feels slow while you're living through it. That's why wealth building often looks invisible at first. But something remarkable starts happening. The money begins working. Then the money earned by the money starts working too. And eventually the growth becomes larger than the original contributions. It's like planting a tree. The first few years feel frustrating. You water it, protect it, wait, and it barely changes. Then one day it starts growing faster than you've expected. The roots were developing the entire time. Wealth works the same way. Most people want the tree. Very few are willing to spend years growing the roots. This is why 5 years matters. 5 years is long enough for consistent behavior to completely change your financial position. Not because of magic, not because of luck, because repeated actions become powerful when given enough time. Think about someone who saves and invests just $15 a day. That's less than many people spend on convenience purchases, food delivery fees, random online shopping, impulse spending, coffee runs. $15 doesn't feel life-changing. That's exactly why people ignore it. But over 5 years, the story becomes very different. The real secret isn't the amount. The secret is the identity. Most broke people focus on changing their financial situation. Wealthy people focus on changing their financial behavior. And behavior comes from identity. Here's what that means. If someone believes they are bad with money, they'll unconsciously make decisions that reinforce that belief. If someone believes they're always broke, they'll continue acting like a person who is always broke. Not intentionally, subconsciously. Human beings are incredibly motivated to stay consistent with their self-image. This is why massive financial transformations often begin with small behavioral shifts. Not because the action itself is huge, because it changes how you see yourself. The first time someone consistently saves money every month, they stop being someone who wants wealth. They become someone building wealth. The first time someone invests regularly, they stop dreaming about financial freedom. They start practicing it. Identity changes behavior, behavior changes outcomes, and outcomes reinforce identity. It's a powerful cycle. Unfortunately, most people experience the opposite cycle. They spend emotionally, feel guilty, avoid looking at their finances, feel stressed, spend again to feel better, and repeat. The behavior strengthens the identity strengthens the behavior. Nothing changes. The breakthrough happens when someone interrupts the cycle, when they begin intentionally creating financial margin, even a small amount. Because margin creates options, options create freedom, freedom reduces stress. Reduced stress improves decisions. Better decisions improve finances. The cycle starts working in your favor. This is why the one habit that creates wealth isn't making more money. It's keeping and investing part of every increase in income. Every raise, every bonus, every side hustle payment, every unexpected windfall. Instead of immediately upgrading your lifestyle, capture part of it, protect it, invest it, allow it to grow. Because the people who become wealthy aren't always the highest earners. They're often the people who consistently convert income into assets. That's a completely different skill. And it's a skill anyone can learn. Even if you're broke today, even if you're starting from zero, even if you've made mistakes before. The next 5 years will pass whether you build wealth or not. That's the uncomfortable truth. 5 years from now, you'll arrive at the same date on the calendar. The only question is what you'll bring with you. Will you bring 5 years of consumption or 5 years of compounding? Will you bring more possessions or more freedom? Will you bring memories of money earned and spent or ownership of assets quietly working in the background? Because wealth is rarely built through dramatic moments. It's usually built through small decisions repeated so consistently that they become invisible. That's why the habit doesn't look exciting. It looks ordinary, almost boring. But boring habits often create extraordinary results. And that's the lesson most people discover too late. The broke person who becomes wealthy in 5 years isn't necessarily smarter. They don't necessarily work harder. They simply learn to create a gap between what they earn and what they spend. Then they protect that gap long enough for time to do the heavy lifting. And once you understand that, wealth stops looking mysterious. It starts looking predictable. So here's a question to think about. If your income doubled tomorrow, how much of it would actually stay with you? Because the answer to that question may reveal more about your financial future than your salary ever will. And if you enjoyed this video, remember, wealth isn't built by the money you make. It's built by the money you keep, invest, and give time to grow. And sometimes the smallest habit can completely change the next 5 years of your life.